I always liked singing, and I started singing in primary school. The teacher would encourage us to sing and compose songs, and then when I got to secondary school, I did music until Form 2, but I didn't do it for CXC because it wasn't offered in CXC alone. I only really pursued music after college, and that's when I went to School of Music, and I studied music theory and voice, and I did the music teachers course with Miss Lucia and wrote the exams with ABRSM. And from there, I became a music teacher.
My musical background began at the age of either 4 or 5. I used to go to rehearsal. There was a children's choir at the Labbe Church. I used to go to rehearsal with my dad. And since I knew all the songs and I used to be singing them at home, he used to be like, well, since you know all the songs, you can just join the choir. Also, I'm currently in a group, Trinity Sisters. So we sing at different places, weddings, funerals, church. So up to a day like today, I still sing. I do not really have a musical background per se. I do not play any instrument, just my voice.
I started my music journey, I started on my own playing guitar, and I then enrolled at the St. Lucia School of Music. Through that I was afforded many opportunities, and I also had the opportunity, I guess, when I left Safa to start teaching at the primary school, which is the Gordon Walker Memorial Methodist. Great experience. I would then go on to Teachers College and came back to my alma mater, Castro's Comprehensive, and that's how I'm here today. And through this has been an amazing journey.
My musical background goes back to school time. I was in the school choir at St. Joseph's Convent, and after going to Teachers College, I chose music as an elective, and from then I was invited to do the program at the St. Lucia School of Music right after I left Teachers College. So I did a year of the Teachers Music program, and with that it gave me greater skills to move into the classroom to introduce music at the school. At the time, Sister Claire was the one in charge of the music program and the choir. So I started working with the Form 1s, the bass, the recorder that we all know, and then I was able to get the other parts of the sum for the recorder. And there were some children who were very enthusiastic, so we made some lovely sounds, and it was really part of our music program at the school. Afterwards, the interest grew. The interest was always there, but it grew. I continued in the program, focusing on vocals and a little piano, but my main instrument was the guitar.
Well, I first started singing at church. I still do, but this is where I started. My mother, who directed the Labbe Children's Choir, we started singing as a choir, and then I sang as part of the Jonge Sisters. Every time my father would preach, he would find opportunities for us to sing. From there, my mother, who is a music teacher, she ensured that her children were taught the fundamentals of music and piano, and so she enrolled us at the St. Lucia School of Music.
My love for music started at a very tender age. I am from a very musical family, and so it was almost natural to just be exposed to music. It continued, and I started to explore my interest in different instruments, learning to play different instruments, and trying to find my instrument. Growing up, I realized I loved singing, and so I pursued my singing with the National Youth Choir under the mentorship of a lot of very good singers, and Mr. John Bailey, Mr. Joseph. And from there, I started teaching at the Anglican Primary School, and I haven't stopped teaching music since then.
I started off singing at the age of 6 years old. I joined the Cathedral Junior Choir led by Deborah Bushell, also known as Auntie Debbie. From there, I took an interest in singing. I mean, I started off in the church, yes, but for some reason, I got a passion for music, observing keyboardists like Don Howell, who used to play keyboards at the church as well. And I also used to watch Derek, who used to play drums at the church, or still plays drums at the church. From there, I decided to join the RC Boys Primary School Choir, led by Sister Rose. And then I decided, you know what, let me take it up a notch. In grade 6, I decided to take part in the RC Jam Calypso competition, where I placed, I don't remember exactly what I placed, but it was somewhere. And from there, into secondary school, I went to Corinth Secondary, where I met Mr. Jason Joseph, bachelor, and I decided to join the combined secondary schools choir in Form 1. And I decided to take part in many different competitions that he held, such as the school solo singing competition, as well as the Junior Calypso Monarch, which I won when I was in Form 5. I think that was in 2012, if I'm correct. And then I went on to joining the National Youth Choir, also known as Justice now, led by Mr. Bailey. Also the Community Choir, led by Mr. Jason Joseph as well. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna partake in learning how to play the piano, how to dabble in a few drums, a little guitar. In Sir Arthur, I decided to join a band called Extreme, which I'm still the lead vocalist of. Extreme band, we normally play at hotels, or we do carnival performances. And from there, I became an artist, a soca artist. And I figured, you know what, I need to make an impact in society, not just for myself, but how can I impact others? How can I impact younger ones, those coming up behind me? You know, how can I inspire them? And Mr. Kiche Graves, who was the former teacher at Ave Maria Girls Primary School, gave me the offer to take his place at the school, and I decided, why not? You know, and from there I became the music teacher at Ave Maria Girls Primary.
I got involved in music during my secondary school year. Well, just before secondary school, but especially when I was in secondary schools, I got involved in a few musical groups, mainly the St. Lucia School of Music concert band, secondary school concert band, under the direction of Ryan Finn. And in that group, I got immense interest in music and exposure to music through the trombone. And yeah, so my musical experience has centered mainly on the trombone and my experiences at the St. Lucia School of Music in the different groups, the jazz band, the orchestra and stuff like that. Upon completing my A-levels, I became a music teacher at the Ave Maria Girls Primary School, where I taught for approximately 5 years.
My music career began as a primary school student, being a member of the choir in just about every school that I attended, except for the ones which did not have a choir. During this time, music for me was singing. There were no musical instruments available for us, and I knew nothing about music theory. However, this changed for me when I gained acceptance at the St. Lucia School of Music certification course during the period 1995-1996, thereabout. At the end of this one-year program, I felt motivated to move on. Since we were exposed to many instruments and modules during the year I attended the course, I decided to focus on one instrument, the keyboard, to develop my skills in music. My main focus was using an instrument as an accompaniment in executing my lessons, and so I learned some keyboard skills through reading and practicing. I also developed a love for choral singing. As a result, I formed a church choir, and we had the privilege of performing at many church functions.
One of the main challenges involved in the music festival is getting the schools and the performances to the level, the quality that personally I would like to see at a national schools music festival. If the teachers themselves do not have the appropriate level of skill and ability, then they would not be able to take the students from point A to point B. In other words, the teachers would have to develop themselves, develop their talents, develop their own abilities for them to be able to assist the students in performing at the kind of level that we would like to see, so that we can have the kinds of arrangements in the performances that we would like to see.
Well, Labe has this saying that the students will give trouble all throughout rehearsal, and on performance day, they like perfect angels. But during rehearsal, it's tough because while you're teaching one set, their pitch, their note, the part, whatever you have to give, the others which are doing nothing, they'll be disruptive, and you have to be telling people to be quiet, sit, or something. It is disruptive at times.
I don't get a lot of time to rehearse just like other teachers, but I try to find the time to rehearse. So whatever free time that the students have, I take advantage of it and I do that. So before school, sometimes after school, Saturdays, lunchtime, break time, and sometimes not every student is available because they have lessons and other activities to practice for, like sports and etc. So if one class is not available, I will not let that stop me. I will take another class, practice with them. If I have students which I have seen have a little bit of trouble during rehearsals, I will take them individually if they are free, and I will work with them.
Time is very, 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 very important, and oftentimes at the school level, it seems on a wish list you would want to have, say, a time scheduled for choir practice. But these days you have so many things happening. Now you have 3 specialist teachers. You have French, you have PE, and you have music. And sometimes you end up competing with these groups. Alright? And also with instructional time, I'm very mindful when you have to take students out of classes. Sometimes they can fall behind and you don't want your students to fall behind. So what I do, the only slot that's left is actually my lunchtime. I've been doing that since library boys and library girls. I would use my lunch period, I would try to rush and eat either 10 or 5 minutes, during that period of time. You eat your lunch. That's what I tell my students. Eat your lunch, get up here. If you're not finished, you can get inside here, finish up your lunch, and we will practice. If it's even half an hour. So half an hour for a period of months before before the preliminary time in terms of the festival, the music, the district festival will actually have that time during lunchtime. And then I will give them a little free up time, a little break. You know, after the whole thing is finished, go and play. I probably will join them sometimes.
We rehearse with different groups separately. So first soprano, then second soprano, and altos. If it is instrumental, then I practice with the different instruments according to the melodic lines that they are playing separately, and then we combine them after they have mastered their separate parts, and then we schedule the same time every day for practice leading up to the music festival. At our school, we have created a culture where we practice at 12. So before the students go out for lunch, they come straight to the music room. And so we have practice for 30 minutes every day.
Rehearsals is our biggest challenge, and for me, we kind of have to make like sacrifices with our time. So what we started to have done, we started to rehearse every other lunchtime, and then we realized, nah, that's not cutting it, it's not working. So every single lunchtime, every single day, we have choir. That's just what it is. Every single lunchtime. And initially it was kind of persons are not showing up all the time, but ultimately we kind of now have like this family bond, and everybody expects to have choir. So if we don't, they feel displaced. Like, where do we go now that there's no choir happening? So now it's like an okay thing, but it's every lunchtime. I would have appreciated if we had like a choir rehearsal time or something, but we don't. So that's what we make do with what we have.
The rigidity of the timetable has not permitted sufficient extra time for the choir to meet. The school's timetable has been so packed with the core subject areas that there is very little time for the choir to meet. In recent years, however, I've resorted to using the recess and lunch periods for rehearsals.
The rehearsals are very, very hectic. I'm being honest. It's challenging. It's not an easy road. Getting the students to come together when you have a short period of time. Sometimes the children need to eat, so the only time that you have is lunchtime, but the children need to eat, so you need to give them time to eat. And children will be children, so you tell them a time and then they'll not come for the time. But that's where you have to really have them pull in their socks, and I'm being honest too. Sometimes teachers can be a little complicated. They also want to ensure that the students, are on track academically. So you have to work with them as much as possible. So what I decided to do is, school starts at 9 a.m. I come at 8:30. I have a rehearsal at 8:30 to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. they go to the classes. Lunch is at 12 o'clock. Rehearsal starts at 12:20 to 1 p.m. And those of them who have lessons start at 3:30. We have a rehearsal from 3:15 to 3:30. So we take that 15-minute break, just to tighten any little thing that we realize happened during the day. Sometimes the children go home. I made a group on WhatsApp with alto section with the parents, soprano section, and I send the parts to the parents. I remind the parents, hey, ensure that the children learn, go through their parts, etc. The students should have a recording of it, so when they come back the next day, they already have an idea, of what it is that we're going to be rehearsing in advance. Again, it's not easy. It's not easy. Children will be children, so sometimes you have to be on their back, the focus for sure. But for some reason at Ave Maria, the older ones, they really set the example for the younger ones. That's a given. I admire that a lot. So sometimes if I'm running late, let's say at 8:30 and I'm running late and I normally come for 1:45, they're already outside rehearsing on their own, and I admire that so very much.
I think in both of the schools that I've taught at, the principals have been they tend to be very encouraging. They want to have a vibrant music program in their school. So I've definitely received a lot of support from the principals that I've worked under. Mrs. Henry especially, she was from the Ave Maria Girls Primary School. She really, I cannot fully describe how elated she would be, or how encouraging she'd be when it comes to the choir.
Music is the soul of Ave Maria Primary School. It is in sync with our mission and our vision to ensure that the students are well-rounded. And music and sports, apart from the academics, is one subject that is high on our agenda, and in terms of activities, the social activities, the activities that we organize for the girls. So the music festival is like pulling out the top or the best of the voices to represent Ave Maria, and going out there to show what great talents we have at Ave Maria. For improvement in anything that you have, or any activity, any event. And I think I saw the introduction of workshops. This should be done continuously, the workshops, not only for the music teachers, for the students, so they get to know where they're going, what is the purpose. And also I think that when we have the music festival, we have school representative or a group of students going in there, but the rest of the schools, the students at the schools, they are not exposed to it. And I think maybe looking at bigger venues, bigger area, places that can host it for as many more students to come in and see their peers on stage and see other students show off their talent.
The music festival, I do believe that more persons need to see it, more persons in the society, because the students come out with some beautiful stuff, and it's almost like nobody sees it really, and nobody appreciates it. Well, when I say nobody, it's only the students and the teachers that's there, but it's, for me, it's supposed to be a national thing where people see. So I believe with the music festival, it can be marketed properly. I believe people will pay money to come and see it.
I think the festival is only part of the music program, and I think what we need to do is to develop choirs within our schools, so that it should be a part of our curriculum. Before, we used to have singing as a subject at school from Form 1 to Form 3. Every form learned the basics of singing, so that it developed the tone. So you had voice training, and then the students would learn different songs, different genres. But this is not happening now, and I think it does impact on the quality of singing that we get.
If something is not good enough for me, I'm not going to present it. I'm just not going to do it. Because I tell my students all the time, I want to make sure that when you hit that stage, that no matter what it is, it could be a competition or festival, whatever it is, I want to make sure that I prepared you well enough that when you hit that stage, you feel prepared. You feel as if you can do something really good. And I usually tell them, go on that stage, own that stage. And as we are still continuing excellence, I really, as I said before, I really think the onus is on the class teacher, the music teacher. And also, if you can help to build some kind of camaraderie among your staff, get them excited about what you are doing. Include them in your project. Tell them that we are all in this together. Include them.
I think that if there was one area in the south, just like the National Cultural Center in the north, if there was an area like that in the south that every school in the south could use, that has, you know, good sound, it has there are good mics, a good sound system, just everything set up well, then that would probably enhance the quality of the music festival. Maybe if we had good videotaping, so we'd have a professional camera, maybe invite, you know, collaborate with some station.
Prepare in advance. I believe in that. You know, preparation. Do not wait for the last minute to try and put something together, because the quality will not come out good. You know, to me, I think the music festival is great. I just wish that they had more participants, like more schools participating. And even if there's no music teacher at a school, that does not mean that you cannot participate. This music is something, I think, that music is something for everybody. The music festival is for everybody. Everybody should participate. The quality is just about preparation and planning. Planning early, preparing early.
The quality of the performances are dependent in most instances on the teachers and the educators guiding the students. The students need guidance. A lot of them are blank slates. A lot of them, what they learn is what they see on the TV and what they see from performances, and it's not necessarily always a good thing. For instance, in our local setting, for most performers, putting your foot on the monitor is a sign of being a great performer. And I mean, we know otherwise, or cupping the mic is a way to, I don't know what it does, but a lot of people do it. And I think the students need proper guidance so that they know what they can and cannot do. So I think it's up to the educators to continue to educate themselves and put themselves in a position where they can assist. You don't have to be a performer, or you don't have to be a brilliant musician for you to guide children on the journey, because not children but students generally, because the talent is there. Like, the most important thing is there in most cases, the talent and the passion. All you have to do is guide that. And if as an educator, let's say you're not a choir person, I feel like you watch videos, you look for tips on how to be a choir master. I know, for instance, my curriculum officer sends a lot of videos to assist the teachers in that. I think if we use the information presented to us, and I think if we work on our craft ourselves, the quality of performances generally would be so much better.
The number one thing is to kind of be prepared. Is one. It's like, you know, this is happening, this is going to happen. Let's try and get, because you're allowed to have a solo singer, you're allowed to have a band, so you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're ready and you're prepared. That's one thing. The second thing as well, I think prizes should be given. I think there should be like a prize, or it doesn't have to be like a check or a trophy necessarily, but you need to see what is happening after the music festival. So is there a recording deal? Are we going to record the students, and is it going to be aired on TV, or do they get the opportunity to meet Ronald Bohingson and collaborate with him? So is there something to look forward to? So something that persons aim to kind of, okay, we are the ones who are going to grasp this year.
Because of COVID, we are making use of the virtual platform. So that's a way to have a larger audience. So I think that's one way that we can move in that direction. They practice with their mask until they will spaced well enough so that they can remove their mask and I could actually see. I would have them go individually instead of having everybody sing together individually, but keeping the distance. So I think rehearsals can still happen. It's just, we just have to plan ahead and execute.
I think in the school environment, creating an environment or culture in a school that sees music not as just something you just do on the side, or you just like you don't need to prepare for, and you just let's just sing a song, and you just at the moment people just come together and they just start singing a song. So for people, I think creating a culture in the school environment or in the education system where people recognize that, and that's not only for music but all the arts, that this is a serious thing, that it's a time-consuming thing that requires a lot of preparation. It requires as much work as any other subject area. So I think trying to create a way to address that problem is creating a culture in the school system where people see the arts, where people see music as not a pastime or hobby, but as a serious matter that requires a lot of work, a lot of determination, just like anything else. So I think that the mindset as it relates to music education, that's most essential to seeing the quality that we want to see coming out from the music festival, or music on the whole in St. Lucia.
Everybody had praise. Everybody give praise. Everybody had praise. And if you know what I mean, then put up your finger. Know what I mean? Put up your hand. Know what I mean? Then put up your finger. Know what I mean? Then scream. Oh, let Jah His praises. Oh, let Jah be praised. Oh, the God in His mercy. Send the music to make the vibration raise. So Carnival Day, everybody come and celebrate.